everyone, thanks for joining us today for Houston Outdoor Live Hiking. I'm Amy Hope with HTX Outdoors, and this is Kelly with Bayou City Outdoors. And today we just want to go through hiking 101 stuff with you, starting with a couple different types of hiking. So there's two main types of hiking. One where you just show up to the trail and you're going to do a loop or an out and back, which is you go about halfway and then you turn around and come back. The loop, you just keep walking and it gets you back to the same start, or a through hike. A little bit about the through hike, that's a little bit more for backpacking, but you can also do it for day trips as well, where you start at one location and then you end at another location. And the biggest thing to remember when you're working on a through hike is car management, because you need a car at the end of the trail wherever you're stopping in order to get back to the beginning. And a mistake that I made the very first time I did a through hike is
key management.
So first it's car management and then it's key management. Yes.
Always hide a key in your car.
We did like a 3-day backpacking trip, and at the end my car was supposed to bring the drivers back to the beginning, but I left my keys in the car because I didn't want to lose them on the trail.
Yep.
So so that's the biggest thing when you're thinking about doing a through hike, which is you're ending at a different spot than you're starting. But if you want to know more about through hiking, in a couple of weeks we're going to be talking about backpacking, and we'll really get into more of the logistics about through hiking there. So today we wanted to just talk a little bit more about day hikes and like longer and shorter day hikes that you can do in Houston. Kelly, what are some of your favorite hikes?
Some of our favorite hikes here in Houston? Well, tonight we are at Memorial Park. And where we are is we're on the south side of Memorial, over what used to be called the mountain bike trails. Now they kind of call them the multi-use trails. And after tonight, or after our talk this evening, we're going to go over to the Triangle, which is probably one of my favorites. And it's surrounded by 610, Woodway, and Memorial. You have to go through a culvert to get there, and that's probably some of the real elevation in Houston. There's also trails just directly south of the parking lots. Those trails tend to have a little bit more mountain bikers. When you're walking those trails, you want to be aware that mountain bikers are not necessarily going to be knowledgeable that you're on the trail. So if you're coming to a blind turn, you want to go ahead and call out, hiker, walker, whatever you want to call yourself. Call it out, because you're not going to necessarily hear the mountain bikers coming around the corner. So to be safe for you, safe for them, keep an eye out for that. If you happen to be hiking the Memorial Trails with your dog, you want to keep your dog on your leash, and you don't want your dog on a flexi leash. It's dangerous for you, it's dangerous for the dog, and it could be dangerous for the biker.
Typically when I have my dog and I see a biker, I'll step off to the side of the trail and make my dog sit, because the different sounds that the bike makes could scare the dog, and so even if they're normally calm and good, something could just scare them and they could jump out. So I usually just step off the trail for a second and let the biker pass.
Yep, great idea, because I always give way to cyclists, because they've got a little bit more that they're working with than we are. We've just got our feet that we're on. So, you have another trail you want to talk about?
I like all of the trails, easy trails for during the day, or pretty much anything that's lining up against the Bayou these days. They've done a lot of work making those really nice. Bray's Bayou is actually one of my favorites right now. They've done a ton of work down there. They're still expanding it. And there's not as many people out there. So if you're looking to kind of get away from the crowd, all the cars and the people, you can head down there, and it's still inside the loop, so it's super close to get to.
Close. And actually, if you don't mind driving a little bit, north of town we have the Lone Star Trail. And the Lone Star Trail is about 150 miles of just hiking. Amy will talk about more of that when we're talking about backpacking, but it's a great place to go do a 1-day hike, a 2-day hike, or a through hike. So yeah.
Lake Livingston has some good trails in the state park over there as well, so you can hike in the morning and then play on the lake at night, in the afternoon or at night.
Nice. Questions? Anybody have questions about trails? We have a few people here in the background. They're going to come walking through later so y'all can see them, but does anyone have trail questions? No, they really are back there. They're just super quiet.
What type of shoes should you wear?
You want to know? He's right in on the gear. Let's talk shoes. Okay. You want to talk about your shoes first?
Sure. So I have a Salomon. This is a Gore-Tex hiking shoe. It's a low top. I prefer low tops. I had a high top for a long time. I like these. The high tops are definitely going to be more sturdy if you're backpacking or doing a lot of up and downs, but I've run in these also, so a lot of people think they're heavy, but I like them. And they're breathable Gore-Tex. They're waterproof as well, and you should probably keep them cleaner than I keep mine, but because it could mess up the breathability of the shoe, but mine have been fine so far, so that's what I wear. And then if it's a flat trail, I will hike in my Chacos every once in a while.
I do too.
If it's just depending on the terrain, or if I'm going to be doing a splash hike, which is where you're hiking through water.
Yep. And all you have to do when you're wearing your Chacos or some sort of open-toe shoe is just remember that your shoes are open, so you got to watch your toes. But all in all, I find hiking in them pretty comfortable.
Anything with a good bottom where you're not going to slide around on the terrain, because you can hit sand. A lot of places here you can hit sand, so you just want to make sure you've got a solid sticky bottom, so to
Solid
speak.
sticky bottom. And yeah, well, whatever. You also, I mean, most of the trails in Houston, wear your runners. I mean, totally work and not a problem. I mean, I wear my runners about 90% of the time. I do have a pair of high tops that I wear either hiking or backpacking. These are pretty light. They're called Breezes, and they're super light, so they work for either or. So if you want something that you can go both ways with on your trail hiking, then I'd look at something like that too. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
All right.
What's the most inappropriate shoes you've seen somebody hike in?
Oh, may I?
Yeah.
So we did the hike along Buffalo Bayou one time before it was even paved, and I had someone show up in high heel wedges. Literally, they were about this high, and I mean, she looked fabulous. She had a scarf on. I mean, it was glitter, and she had her heels. And I told her, I was like, "Whoa, I don't think that's going to work." She's like, "No, I'll be fine." So I did. I checked on her the next day. She said she didn't get off the couch for the whole weekend.
I had someone last week ask me if I hike in heels.
Seriously?
Yeah, I probably could have done
Do
it
you have
about
that
a year
look?
ago. I wore heels for like the first time in months, so maybe they were just shocked. But yeah, no, I don't.
Yes. Anybody else? Anything else?
What do you do with someone who keeps rolling his anchor?
Oh. Yeah. So one of our runners tonight came back and rolled his ankle. So
You can do ankle strengthening exercises just by rotating it before and after your runs, just to make them a little bit stronger. I used to roll my ankles all the time. Actually, I think spraining my ankles helped me roll them less. I think it actually helped make them tighter. I don't recommend doing that, but
whoa.
it seemed to work. But you can rotate them and do little exercises to make them stronger.
Yeah, you can. So,
All right.
you want to talk about some gear?
Yes.
All right. So we've got, Amy and I have a little bit different approach to gear. So we thought that we'd start out with our first aid kits first. So Amy, grab that first aid kit if you can lift it.
I like to have everything in the medicine cabinet in my first aid kit. Where is your first aid kit, Kelly? So typically a lot of people, what they do is they'll pair their first aid kit to whatever type of hike that they're doing. So if you're doing a short hike, you don't need as much stuff as you might need for a long hike or a multi-day trip. This is just always been my day kit. So I got the standard, everything that came with it, and then I added some extra stuff to it as well. So just stuff like Neosporin, and you can see I wrapped duct tape around that just so I have a little bit of duct tape with me. I've got my compass in here just in case I need it. And then some
She's got a novel in
non-standard-
there.
I got a novel. It actually is a first aid manual.
Oh.
In case somebody finds me and they need to know what to do. And then my chapstick, I couldn't live without that if it wasn't in there. So, and then the standard stuff like moleskin, Band-Aids, Benadryl, and Tylenol. So, and gloves, which I use to pick up trash.
And so for mine, I do tend to just, I fill it for whatever hike I'm doing. If I'm doing a day hike, I'm not going to carry much. I carry a small pack, and I'll throw in a few blister packs, some ibuprofen, maybe some cream, antiseptic cream, and pretty much it for my first aid kit for a day hike. What else do you have?
I also bring extra battery packs. This is a battery pack. It actually attaches to a solar panel, which sometimes on the longer hikes we will put the solar panel on the back of the camelback and charge stuff as we go. So if you want, you got to use Map My Run or one of those things to track what you're doing. So we use extra batteries. This is something Kelly does not use. So one of the differences, that's why
I basically suggest to people to go ahead and charge that phone before you leave.
Well, you do charge it, but the battery goes fast sometimes when you don't have a good signal. So, and then it's solar charging, so no harm. As long as you carry the weight. So all of this stuff obviously weighs more. So if you don't mind carrying a little extra weight, I just think of it as a little extra workout. It's like strapping some weights around your arms or your ankles. Mine's just in my camelback, and then I have it if I need it.
Okay, so here's my theory on that. and I'll always go to Amy when I need something because I know she's got everything. But what I'll do is I have actually a couple of different packs. And the reason I have different packs is that I find that people tend to fill what they have to the capacity of what they have. So if you have a small pack, you're probably going to carry less, and if you have a big pack, you're just going to keep putting crap in it, So I will start out with something super little. This will hold, enough water for a couple hours and enough goodies to get me through the day. Plenty. If I'm really going to go somewhere and I'm concerned about different weather, I'm concerned about terrain, I'm concerned about maybe the people who are along, like I go, I know that so-and-so last time just had to sit down and not go any further because they got hungry and they couldn't stand it. So I'll take a bigger bag and I will start putting stuff in it. They all have bladders in them. But I really do believe, the bigger your bag, the more stuff you're going to carry. It just happens.
What size is this?
What size is this one? No idea.
My camelback
Medium?
in here is 100 liters. I also always carry 100 liters of water.
Oh, so water? Actually,
Yeah.
I do too. That's my one splurge is water. Always have more water than you need.
Always more than I need. Because I see so many people who leave for hikes empty-handed, completely empty-handed, and the sun is out. I mean, you don't realize, you sweat, especially here in Houston, you're going to sweat a lot of it out too, right? So, and if you stop sweating, that's a problem. But I always carry 100 ounces of water, not liters.
We go with Amy everywhere because she's got it all.
But I also want to show this bag. This is a BCG bag that you can get at Academy. Camelbacks can run $80, north of it. I think 80 is the cheapest. You probably can get it $80, and I don't know, they get really expensive. This BCG bag at Academy, it's much cheaper. It holds up just as well. It actually held up to some raccoons because I left dog treats in the pocket. But
Academy has some good prices compared to REI.
They do. This was probably I want to say $35 or $40, something like that, and it works just as well. My camelback, I love my camelback. I had it for 14 years. Actually, it did fine until I started kayaking with it, like open water kayaking. And so I had to replace it, so I got this one and so it works good. So it's a good alternative until you're ready to spend the money.
Yeah, that's a good point. All of this stuff, with the exception of shoes, and you can get some pretty decent prices of shoes online, with the exception of probably shoes in my world, most of this stuff can be bought. Like for me, I wouldn't go out and buy the super cool, fancy first aid kit, even though it's really nice, because I know that I can go pick up some little, just some little things, some blister kits, some antibiotic cream, and it's going to cost me nothing. Something that Amy mentioned earlier that you should know, though, about first aid, just FYI, is that your stuff will go dry.
Yes.
Your Benadryl will go away, your alcohol will go away, so you want to keep an eye on your first aid kit. You don't want to be using the same first aid kit for 15 years. One thing, let's talk about hydration real quick, because like Amy and I both carry a lot of water. That's because we know, A, that you really need to be drinking water. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. You need to be drinking water because it's going to keep you feeling good. Secondly, because I don't know, I would bet that anytime I've been on a long hike, I've ended up sharing my water. Like, I almost always end up sharing my water because there's someone who came along and they have, like a little plastic bottle of water, and that's going to get them through the entire day. And it's not. It is not. I mean, you've got to really think about that and go out. If you don't want to carry a backpack, get something like this. Just get a BPA-free jug of water and carry it with you, because this, I don't know, I would say 32. And I mean, this would last me 3 hours maybe. And if I have friends along who forgot their water, it's going to last me 1 hour. So, you really need to think about hydration. We've been super lucky so far this year because Houston's just been cool, but that's not going to last. So think about your water more than about anything else, except for snacks. Snacks are good. What do you have for snacks?
Well, it depends. I mean, I do bars. I really like summer sausage and cheese. That's a good one for when you're backpacking. But mainly just bars, like Kind bars or something like that.
Yeah. I think you need something. If you're out there for 2 hours, you don't need anything. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You're fine. If you're going to be hiking longer than about 2.5, 3 hours, then you're going to want to start thinking about having something along that's going to give you a little extra energy. So it's bars, it's goo, if y'all know goo, shot blocks, I think. Like, these are shot blocks. They're all basically kind of, really more than anything, a little bit of sugar and salt, probably. But it will help you after you've been out there for a few hours because you need a little bit of something. So what questions? Anybody?
How about a more natural food source instead of like pre-made bars? Would you recommend carrots, celery sticks, raisins?
I don't think there's enough calories in carrot, celery sticks. I would bring nuts.
Yeah.
I'd bring
You
dry
could make your own
fruit.
trail mix.
Yeah, make your own dry trail mix. What else?
Dried fruit. Yeah.
Dried fruit. Huh? Jerky. Yeah, a lot of people are buying jerky now, and you can get jerky anything, I think.
What's your favorite jerky, Kelly?
My favorite jerky. Well, as a vegetarian, I guess my favorite jerky is probably celery.
Or papyrus.
Yes, papaya. You could. That's exactly right. You can use that. But yeah, that's what I would use. Sugar, and then the fat and the nuts. What else? Anybody? Questions?
Specific electrolytes?
So as far as electrolytes go, if I'm drinking water and I have some goo or some shop blocks or some gorp or something like that along, I'm not going to worry about electrolytes too much because I'm not really slamming it out there, right? I mean, I'm hiking, I'm not running, I'm not cycling, I'm not like slamming hard. But if I am going to take electrolytes, I will take some. I like one from Vega, actually. But don't put electrolytes in your Camelback. That nice liner that Amy was showing you a minute ago. Don't put your electrolytes in there. Because once you get home, and even if you wash it out, you're not going to wash it out good enough. And then you're going to have a special slurry of awesome Houstonness in there. So, what else? Anybody? Other questions?
Any special recommendations on socks?
Yo, socks? Absolutely. We both love Smart Wool.
Smart wool.
The smell? No.
Not.
Actually, the thing about wool socks is they won't smell.
Yeah.
They really won't. If you've worn them for a few days, they still don't smell. But yeah.
That's all I wear is smart, like
A
some
few.
type of smart wool or equivalent sock, because they keep your feet dry and cool. So they make them in different thicknesses too. This is a lighter weight one. I have that. I pretty much have the whole line all the way up to the thick ski sock that I like for camping because I don't ski.
Yeah. I would definitely consider Smart Wool. I wear them like Amy all year round. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. These are a heavier pair that I'll wear with my boots. If I'm going to be going a long time in my boots, I'm going to wear some sort of silk liner, and then with the Smart Wool also. But all in all, yeah. We could be a Smart Wool commercial, actually.
What about for chafing?
For chafing, you want to carry a blister kit. And all a blister kit is some moleskin.
For body?
Oh, for body chafing. Let's talk about foot chafing first and then body chafing. So foot chafing, make sure that you carry some moleskin. And the absolute second your foot feels a little slightly weird, it's usually like a little tingly feeling more than anything, you want to stop. I don't care what they're saying. You tell everyone to stop. You're going to put a moleskin on that spot. Because if you don't, when you get a blister, it's going to make your life a whole lot worse. And then I think you have some chafing stuff with you, don't you?
Yeah, this is this is for blisters also for your feet. So it's, you're just supposed to rub it on and then rub it on your foot. It's a little cream.
But you can use it anywhere.
You can use it anywhere if you
Yeah.
think you're getting a blister, yeah.
Yeah. So as far as chafing goes, like let's say your arms, thighs. I mean, it sounds really terrible, but I use my what's it called? Chamois butter is the right word for it. Chamois butter, butt butter that you ride with, that you're actually riding, you're cycling with. You can use that to rub on anywhere that might chafe. You can also look at your clothes, and I'm not. You want to look at those clothes. You want to be making sure that you have a flat seam. Like if you find that something chafes, typically your thighs or whatever, you want a flat like seam on those clothes, because that's what's going to be chafing you. Yeah, and put your chafing cream on before you start chafing. That's what's going to save you. Think about it early instead of later. What else? Anybody?
Sunscreen, sunblock.
Oh yeah. You're in Houston. I mean, here. I brought my attractive.
Sunscreen clothes, yeah.
Yes.
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen. These are all good-looking things you want to wear. A buff. A buff you can put around your neck. You can put it around your head. You can do all kinds of things with buff. It will protect your neck. This is like as sexy as it gets, guys.
Well, besides the
Yes.
underwear she showed us last week.
Yeah? Huh? You want one? I know y'all do. And then some sort of shirt. And the shirt, it's heavy, but it's going to save me, and it's just not going to be that uncomfortable for the heat. Even when I'm wearing sunblock, I'll end up wearing that shirt too. So, and I am the person who never wore any cover up when I was younger, but I have learned that you definitely want that cover. And a hat. I mean, I always have a hat. This one, the white one is actually really, I only usually wear it when I'm out in the desert or on the river. But something light, you need something light for your head. What else? Anybody?
Insect spray and ticks.
So the question is, insect spray and ticks.
I use bug spray. And actually, quick story about that. I get bit by mosquitoes a lot, so so I'm always using bug spray, and there's the whole conversation about do you use DEET or not use DEET. If you're in a mild area like Memorial Park, there's not a ton of bugs here. I mean, there are bugs, so you can go with a lesser
Evil.
bug spray. So you get the organic ones. The best organic one that I've found is Green Goo by Bugs Be Gone. It works really well. I like that a lot. But a few weeks ago, we went camping in Tennessee, and we were actually doing trail maintenance, and there's a lot of ticks out there. And we're on a trail, we're building the trail, so there wasn't a lot of population out there yet. So we found, we were using the DEET, like the Deep Woods, I think, bug spray for the ticks. And I forgot to put it on one day, and the day I forgot to put it on, I had 3 ticks. And everyone else who put it on didn't have any ticks, so it works. It works. Yeah. So definitely, if you're going to be in a tick area, a heavily tick area, I would suggest using a stronger bug spray because they carry diseases like Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain fever. So you just kind of want to know what path you're going to be on, and if they're known for ticks and heavy mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I'll say Huntsville State Park. I've never really seen any bugs out there. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even when the mosquitoes are out, I feel like Huntsville State Park never has a mosquito. Don't quote me on it, because you'll all go and then there'll be a mosquito. But they love me, and I feel like anytime I go there, I never get bit. So I think they've got it worked out.
There you go. They have a special magic up there. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't wear bug spray unless I'm going somewhere where I know there's a tick issue, or it's somewhere where there's some sort of, you're out of the country and there's, yellow fever or whatever. So, yeah. Anybody else? We are going to wrap it up and go on a hike unless anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if we were going to go on a hike.
Yeah, we're going for a hike. Everybody who didn't join us tonight, join us next week. Next week we're going to be in Midtown camping with. No, we'll be at Bagby Park, which is Bagby and Gray. We're going to do a whole pitch on camping. We'll set up some different tents. We'll show you, how to use your jet boil.
My whole kitchen.
Yeah, oh yeah. Amy will bring everything. I'll bring like a little jet boil. And and then afterwards we're going to go to Rico's, and we're not exercising next week. We're going to Rico's and having some food and drink. So thank you all so much for being here. If you've got any questions, fill them in, and we will be checking the Facebook website later. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.